Mashani Political Incorrect, we recorded an episode with the uMkhonto weSizwe labor movement. So so there's this labor and civic organization. What they do is they advocate for people who have lost, who, am I putting it correctly? For people who want jobs and other things. So they are all almost on the side of this. They're an organization that advocates for people. So it's a labor movement, and also they are pushing for people who are not employed to be employed. So it's a kind of a cross between a civic organization and a labor movement. But so this is what we're going to do. We're going to ask them. This is not the first victory they've scored, by the way. So we're going to talk to their spokesperson, who's based in Tekwini region, but this victory they scored it in Pietermaritzburg. Comrade uMkhonto will talk to us about it, so we can hear precisely what is it that they've scored. Let's see if we get hold of them. Comrade uMkhonto?
Yes, sir.
Leadership, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, sharp. And then you say reclaiming jobs, rebuilding communities. How important is this for the MK labor and civic organization?
It's a very important victory for us as uMkhonto weSizwe labor and civic organization. We have fought a very big fight. Initially, the fight was about getting jobs for South Africans. So what was happening is we have met Hojo's group somewhere in September, and they released a statement on the 23rd of September saying that they are going to be removing all illegal foreigners and hire South Africans. So from that time, 23rd September till they have never responded to us or said, we have sat with them on the committee. Then we decided to start a shutdown. So that shutdown took about 3 days. And eventually last night, we had a meeting with them and they've agreed to everything that we've overtaken.
Okay, no, that's brilliant. And I was saying, I was telling the audience that this is not as new as you are. This is not the first major vehicle that you guys have scored. You did the same in Johannesburg, where you cornered an employer who came down and humbled themselves to say, well, we are willing to hire South Africans if they are available. And you showed them that South Africans are not lazy and they are available. Tell us about that.
Yes, of course. This is not our first victory. We've also recorded victories in Pietermaritzburg in the area of Eastwood, where we've hired more than 200, 300 people. The same thing in Clearwood. There's a place here called Clearwood in Durban. We've also been able to record victories where our people were able to get employment. And the same thing as well in Johannesburg. Definitely, a lot of people were able to get employment, even within the other areas as well. Of Johannesburg, within the security industry, they were able to get a lot of employment. So the same thing now that has just happened, that Honchos were able to get employment for more than 100 people. But the one of Honchos is a bit different compared to others. For because Honchos was always been hostile towards us, where they told them that, okay, look, in outside of only finding employment for our people, we also want you to contribute to the normal lives of our people, where they've agreed that every 2 days in the week, they are going to be providing lunch for poor people within the areas of Pietermaritzburg. And number 2, January next year, they are going to buy 180 uniforms for all poor people to working with us. So this is going to be happening in the province of Gauteng and also here in KZN.
Precisely, it again ties up with what I was saying, that you guys are not only advocates of people being employed. I mean, you are a civic organization as well. So it's like a best of both worlds. People who are not employed, they run to you. People who are bothered in the area of employment, they also run to you. Let me tell you, when we were here, we spoke about how important is it for for South Africans to actually realize that South Africans are there, they are not being employed. Given the opportunities, they will take up those jobs that are offered to foreigners. I'm saying that because I said I'm a proud South African, and every time a foreign national, purports South African, paints us, especially our youth, to be lazy, it affects me because as a citizen, I need to come and defend this. So you have actually proven that it is actually the employer who chooses not to employ South Africans.
Yes, that's 100% correct. It's the employer who chooses not to employ South Africans. So the reality of the matter is that these illegal foreigners do not employ themselves. They do not own companies. They just come to South Africa not knowing anything. Some of them can't even speak any basic language of South Africa. They enter to these companies. They are taught how to work. They don't bring CVs or anything. But it becomes very problematic that when South Africans then come looking for the same jobs, they're told they don't have experience and all of those things. Yet these foreigners come there not knowing anything, and then they are taught how to do these jobs inside those companies. So all previously, as I've said, that when we have our matches, we go with our people as a demonstration that the people, they are to work, they want to start work as it immediately. So the same thing there, Honchos, it was part of those things. And we are very proud of our people that every time when we put up these programs, they're able to stand up and say, well, we are in full support of what you are doing. And at the same time, we are people who want employment. So these demonstrations or programs and matches that we have started with, they are going to be continuing because we are what aim is to try and reduce unemployment as the highest level or the South Africa.
Thank you. When you were here, we spoke about an example of uMkhonto, and we deliberately did it to show people that this thing is widespread. Gayton McKenzie once spoke about blaming the white communities, to say you are blaming farmers. You are hiring people without any credentials. You do have not tracked this person. You don't know anything about this person. He just rocks up and he says, I'm Mozambican. You're not even sure that he comes from Malawi. You hire them, you put them in your farms. They know just about everything amongst themselves. They can plot to even topple that thing. And then when it happens, you say South Africans have done this. So you also explained that forms, CVs are needed when South Africans need to be hired. But with foreigners, that is not the key. They just rock up and then they are hired. Are you planning to have a database of people who are like nationally, people who are South Africans? You'll find a way of recording how South African they are. Whenever a company says, no, we are in Rustenburg, we don't have a job, we say, no, use our database. Are you planning to venture into that?
Well, we have not reached that stage or maybe sort of plannings whereby we would say that there must be some sort of a database that must be with us, with which will be recorded in terms of unemployment. But of course, there are some of the things probably maybe we'll have to look at. It's just that at the moment, the work that we do is of physical basis where we visit companies physically and we visit those companies with our people. So we are going to be making announcements in different provinces and different regions that we are going to be visiting. So I know for a fact that at times, once we announce that we are going to go to a certain place, some of the employers of those places, they will start calling us and say, look, I do have illegal foreigners in my company. Before you even march and come to me, please, can you give me 20 people who want to start working immediately? So those companies, we are very happy when they do that to quickly respond to us even before we get to them. And then we tell them that, look, we've planned a march on a particular day. So when we get there with our people, we are then going to give you the number of workers that you require, if it's 20 or 30, or whatever number it is. But also, yes, maybe in the longer future, in the longer run, we are going to create those databases and record people based on their professions, based on their experiences and whatever way that they can be able to do. That is something that we are going to be looking at in the long run.
Power to you, too, and the collective leadership of UMK. Please, man, when you do this, And make sure you protect our integrity as South Africans, man, because I'm seeing that you are doing it with precision. No organization has been banned. No one has been. So even when people try to agitate to you, because I know it might come to that stage when people want to, provoke you, so you react in a violent way. They say you see they are violent. So I just want to tell you, man, thank you very much for doing this with integrity. And ours as the media is just to make sure that there are South Africans who are unemployed and there are South Africans who are willing to be employed. As you do that, man, power to you and your leadership. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Eitada. That was Mthokozi Sishinga. If you want to see the podcast, it's linked at the end of this. Go and watch it, or just press information on this. You'll see the podcast. But I want us to talk about this. People don't actually understand when I say there is the importance of Operation Tudula to exist. You guys think, yes, we want holy. No, we don't want it. We don't want it. And we always discuss. And I want to tell you, there is no political. Give me a political party that does not make mistake. Give me a political party that does not have people who are people who are not strategic, people who don't follow what these people are following. Let's look at the Purple Gang. The Purple Gang, very uncoordinated at best, and sometimes what they were doing is you would find a lady who raised a placard that said, "We want all men gone. All men must go." You understand? So you understand when such this, it discourages the actual movement of the women, and they've got lots of problems. They've got lots of problems because they are starting. Any organization will have lots of those problems. And I want maybe use this opportunity to say one of the biggest problems of this feminine movement is you don't know what they stand for, because if you call them for an interview to come and sit there, to come and explain and take questions, they will always refuse. If you think I'm lying, please just give us one organization. We are going to invite them to come and sit here so we can question them. Why do you do this? Why is this? Other political parties do that. Other organizations do that. They go and take interviews. They will not take interviews because they believe they must just tell and we get the message. And when we want to ask the message, when someone discampaigns your own programs, what must happen? I'm just giving an example. But let me go back to Operation Dudula. You see what Mtoshinga and the collective leadership they are doing there at MK Labor and Civic Organization. They are pushing something that they believe in, and they are doing it correctly. They are going to make mistakes. And when they make mistakes, we will highlight their mistakes. The same way when Operation Judula does a good thing, I stand up and I applaud them. And I know you can hate Operation Judula for doing something wrong. And others that just entirely hate Operation Judula. Like there are organizations, like, let me give an example, like the Economic Freedom Fighters have been an enemy of Operation Judula, because they feel provoked because it started with uMkhonto and stuff. And I understand. And at some point I was thinking, it's Antalax. But Antalax has removed himself from Operation Dudula or fired any of those. So I'm saying there are people of EFF who are affected by the things that Operation Dudula advocates for, and they support us. And I know I say this a lot. I have proof and evidence, and I even showed you EFF members who support Operation Dudula. I have proven to you. Text there, if you don't, just put it on the WhatsApp. I'll take that link and I'll show it to you to say, here is proof of Operation EFF not wanting for illegal foreigners and supporting Operation Dudula. But that's besides the point. The point that I want to make here is the existence of Operation Dudula is needed in our society, because the African National Congress and the other political parties want to make you believe that the reason we don't have jobs is something else besides the hiring of foreigners. Can you just imagine illegal and legal foreigners? The job they occupy could be occupied by South Africans. Saying this does not mean I'm xenophobic. It means I'm a patriot. I'm a citizen who loves South Africa. That's the long and short of it. And people like uMkhonto, they are proving that. Am I a Pan-Africanist? Yes, I'm a Pan-Africanist. I believe the effort used by certain people of African descent, it could be used to build their own countries. We will never thrive as a continent if all of us want to latch on to the only promising hope. If everyone runs to Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria, and these other nations don't thrive, you see what the Burkinabe are doing. They are building their own country. People of Malawi, they come from the Great Lakes regions, Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, those countries they come from, they can build things in their own country. If the political leaders are the ones if the political leaders are the stumbling block of nation building, they must get rid of those political leaders. I do not know how. The ANC did not know how. If those who wonder why my head is talking like this, I have a series of freedom fighters, South African freedom fighters who went abroad, spent many years fighting the apartheid, but eventually it let go and we have a country. But all I'm saying is our African brothers and sisters, stop guilt tripping South Africans when they tell you that build your own countries. And building your own countries doesn't mean don't come to South Africa. Yes, you can build your own countries by coming to South Africa. We could actually trade. But when there are things that need to be given to South Africans are not given to South Africans, you are going to make it difficult for yourselves. Marshall politically correct. Let me leave it there. This episode was just about showing you that there are organizations that deliberately don't want to hire South Africans. And I'm not saying they're not lazy South Africans. They are lazy South Africans. There are kids who do not want to work. I've said it many times, and I even showed you young South Africans who would rather go to the Groove. The Groove is not a mall, by the way. There is a mall in Pretoria called the Groove, but the Groove is party life, nightlife, because they've got warm beds at home. You find adults who are 26, 30 years old who still live at home. It is a problem in South Africa. Latgag, that's the Moloto channel. If you think I'm lying, go there and watch. There are South Africans who do not want to work. Then me saying they're not I'm saying I admit there are South Africans who do not want to work. So don't prove to me by showing you lazy South Africans. They are there. But I'm saying, so I can give you an example. You know, scooter. I had a scooter. I had two. I tried. I went to even knock at people's houses to say, I know your son is not employed. I've got a scooter. I want them to, because I do not want my scooter to be my bike. The Uber bikes to be ridden by a stranger. I want to build as a youth to do that. It didn't work. Even those that knew I had a scooter, they could not come. And I even approached others, young South Africans, to say, here's a scooter, this is your business, this is what you can do. I even went to a street corner of young South Africans who sit there and smoke all day. I know those boys. I went there to talk to them, say, here it is. What is in for you? This is what you run your other businesses, you run everything, but every week this is my taking. You give me this money, and then the bike is yours. Like, this is how they work, by the way. They still didn't buy it. So I agree that there are lazy South Africans. But there are organizations who deliberately do not want to hire South Africans because they are looking at profit margins. Anyway, Mashana politically incorrect. I'm just happy for organizations who exist, who are there to, you see, they say they hired 200 South Africans. Can you imagine your son who will not have employment? Now he's getting a source of income. He can then support. You can then. So people may not understand this. Do you understand that a young boy who is not employed, what does it mean? It means he cannot start a family. His way of starting a family is delayed because he cannot rent. He cannot buy a house. He cannot, even if he's given land, he cannot build in his land. He will not have a house. So we are damaging a social fiber of South Africans having employment. Employment assists people into finding out who they really are, because employment is not easy. They find who they are, and then they may venture into business when they lose their job or when they're working. So being employed is a very important thing. They could even decide, this thing of being employed is not mine. I can actually do this job that I'm doing here. I can do it myself at home and cut the profits this way. But measured politically correct, I'm a patriot South African. Then if you want to challenge me on the views, come and prove to me. Come and prove to me that no, South Africans are lazy. In the majority, we built this country. The people who say so they're actually very disrespectful to South Africans. We built this country. Our forefathers built this country. Of course, with the help of Mozambicans, Malawans, and who have now integrated, who are part of us. That's why you see we've got Buchi Vavaro, who are playing for Kaizer Chiefs. We've got Wopiri, we've got Honare, people from, we are one. Southern Africa is SADC, we are one. We are one country. We build this thing together. And don't get it confused with the fact that we're saying we don't want it. But if you are illegal in the country, you pose more problems, many problems if you are illegal. That's why we understand it may not be feasible to come to South Africa and work, but we're saying it's very difficult. Masha political correct, let me leave it at that. It's a good work done by South Africans who go there and defend our integrity.